Hey everyone, Bryce here, and I'm trying something new today. It's sometimes days or even weeks between me completing a final painting, a final piece of artwork, and I'm working on this Patreon account of mine, a way of sharing more work with you. And so rather than waiting every handful of days or every few weeks to share, I'm trying today something more like a journal or sketch to share with you. So I'm actually drawing right now while I'm talking, and I have no idea if this is going to work or if it's just going to totally fracture my brain into pieces. But I'm watching my hand move, making things, making artwork, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm wanting to share more content with you, more of my life, more of my process. And what's really alive for me right now is something that happened over the weekend with my son, who's almost 13, and we went winter camping this past weekend on what was a crazy cold weekend, frigid, well below 0 Fahrenheit. And wow, looking at my hand moving, making artwork, we will see how this works. Just focus on drawing for a second here. So every year on Cohen's birthday, he lists as one of his top 3 things a desire to go winter camping, snow camping. And we made it through the first night, and it was just so cold, and he was suffering and struggling and complaining about the cold and how he wanted to go back home. And I had this thing in me, you know, the dad who's like, come on, just buck up, you can do it, just stop whining, da-da-da. And instead of doing that, I just really listened to him, gave him the space to vent and air out all of his complaints. And then I proposed something to him, which was, can you imagine what it might feel like to be on the other side of this if we actually make it through another night like we'd planned, 2 whole nights, even knowing that it's going to get way colder the next night? And he sat with that for a moment, and then he utterly shifted. He did this thing that is so central in my practice right now, which is, am I willing to open? Like, it's so easy to close, and to close around my conceptions of what my limits are and what I'm comfortable with and uncomfortable with. And so this opening into the intensity of experience. And so he actually made this beautiful shift, and he actually started kind of parodying me of like, I have a tendency of just loving intensity, and so he would be like, oh man, his whole voice would change, and he'd be like, oh man, this fire is so hot, it's so intense, I just love it. Oh man, my back is so freezing cold, I just love the intensity. And he just so leaned in this beautiful way, and we had so much fun. He even created this, created or channeled, I don't know what he did, this deity named Prajapati, and he built an altar to Prajapati right there in the Prajapati. That's how he said it. Built an altar to Prajapati right in the middle of the woods there, and we just laughed and endured and stretched way beyond our normal capacity in the cold and what he thought his limits were, and came out on the other side on the morning of the 3rd day after 2 nights of being in the cold, just brilliant and awake and open And my feeling is that he really had his limits, like he just shined right through them. And my hope is that, every time that we have an experience like this, he can apply it in other places in his life, as can I. I mean, I'm just so inspired by my son. So I wanted to share all this with you because, for example, like, I feel that every time that I step up to the canvas, I feel my limits. Like there's some part of me that wants to close down, that just wants to doubt my worth. Even speaking and sharing this story with you, it's like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Who really wants to hear it? What's the worth of what I'm drawing? And instead, just saying yes and opening and really going for it. So, hope you have enjoyed this. And if you have, and if you'd like to see more like this, then I invite you to become a micro patron on, if you go to patreon.com/Bryce Widom, you can sign up as a micro patron, and my hope is to do a lot more like this. I think this drawing is working. We'll see. We'll see when I watch it, the recording. And if you are already a patron, then please consider sharing this with your friends. Okay, over and out. Till next time.